Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us.
Ba-da-da-na-na-na, ba-da-na-na-na-na-na. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't, because he's a pig. All right, cool.
And they say that hero can save us.
Hey, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. That passed already. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy winter solstice. You know, whole holiday shebang. Are we doing a Christmas movie? No, we are not. Christmas happened for 2 seconds in this movie at the very end when everything was sad and lonely.
We already did
depressing.
our Christmas
Yes,
spiel.
we already did our Christmas thing. Of course, we had to do the biggest movie of the year. We're doing Spider-Man, specifically Tom Holland MCU Spider-Man with Ned and MJ. So just warning you up front right now, if you haven't seen the movie, stop listening to this unless you want to hear some spoilers that you will be very upset about hearing. But they're happening in this episode because Rachel and I saw it Thursday night.
I got those December 16th tickets real fast.
Me too. Stayed up till 2 a.m. Well, all the apps were crashing.
Well, yeah, I stayed up until 1 and failed and then bought them at 5 when I woke up for work.
Mm-hmm.
So good priorities.
Yeah.
I got that on lock.
We both got them, yeah.
But we were like, no, we got to go the day before. I'm not playing with these spoilers. I'm simply not doing it.
No. Are you kidding me? I will. I don't know if I've ever expressed this really before. Probably not. We talk a lot about Marvel, but we've been pretty surprisingly for us, been pretty focused on who we're actually talking about. So I think I've expressed love for Kate Bishop, even though we haven't really talked about her and
yes.
Comics Clint Barton, not MCU Clint Barton. But I deeply, deeply love Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I have a connection to Spider-Man that I don't think I've ever verbalized before. But I'm not a huge comics reader. But Spider-Man are the only comics that I read. Would just pick up any Spider-Man comic and read it. When I was a kid, I wasn't superhero movies didn't really exist when I was a kid. Except the X-Men, and I didn't see those until I was a teenager anyway. But comics weren't a thing for me. But yeah. I would just pick up Spider-Man comics and read them. I love Peter Parker.
What's great? I don't know when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came out.
2002.
Okay, so you were 8?
I was 8.
Yeah, because I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had some. I mean, that must have been fun. The guy that you read about.
To be honest, this is actually pretty funny. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was a little too old for me at 8. So
yeah,
they went a little too
okay.
Superheroes.
We're not talking about Tobey's Spider-Man in this one.
We will.
But I will say though, I did a full rewatch to prepare for this episode and prepare for the new movie because I was I need to know everything that's happened. All these villains are in it and everything, and I just need to refresh my memory.
Mm-hmm.
Tobey's Spider-Man, the violence is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Insane. He's getting skull fucked by Venom.
Yeah. In this movie, they were oh yeah, he killed Green Goblin by putting his little sled thing through him. And I was that was a graphic ass scene.
What about spoiler, what about when Green Goblin slams his face into the fucking bricks?
Yeah.
Curb stomps that mother.
Yeah.
That was harsh. Willem Dafoe, oh my God. Oh my God.
So good.
He did not need that mask at all.
I was going to say, I'm glad they took his fucking
he
smashed his face. Actually, it's so funny. My theater cheered when he smashed the mask. Yeah. I don't know if it was because they were they got rid of but no, obviously the Green Goblin's still in his head. Yeah, he smashed the mask and the theater was woo!
Oh, I love that. I can't. Right now, I'm having so much fun just watching the theater reactions to things and the crowds cheering and everything.
Yes.
I think one that I got that maybe other people didn't get was when Electro mentions that he's from Queens. And I'm in Queens. I was watching the movie in Queens. And everyone went,
I screamed at that point, but I got to the end when he said there's got to be a black Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, then everyone screamed again.
Miles!
But it was we just pay a lot of respect out here to Spider-Man in legitimate Queens. We do be loving our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man out here. So it was fun. I've seen every Spider-Man in a Queens theater. I feel very, very connected to my man Pete that
Very
way.
authentic.
Yeah, very authentic.
Yeah.
It was
It's funny.
a great theater experience. Like better than any of the other MCU ones. Way better.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was telling Rachel, I saw people comparing this movie to Endgame, and I was like, Infinity War was better than Endgame, first of all. So, like, of course this one's better than Endgame. But no, the theater reaction was great. I want to go again, so I still get the theater reaction because I feel like that's going to die down after this weekend. But it was so good. And actually, I was just thinking, it's so funny, me talking about how much I love Spider-Man, how long I've I watched the Disney XD cartoons with like Drake Bell and like the Ultimate Spider-Man or whatever. That's how much I love him. Fucking Drake Bell. But, yeah, right. But I was just thinking, I was like, I had never really sorted Spider-Man. You know, he was just Spider-Man, and I was just like cool, jiving with him. I actually didn't sort him until listening to Nerds. They didn't sort him, but they Myers-Briggsed him. They Myers-Briggsed him in one of their.
Do you remember what he got?
Yes, I do, because it's mine. It's INTJ.
Is it really? That's so funny.
Yes. So they were because they haven't done character episodes yet, but they were going through each type or whatever, and they were giving examples of some INTJs, and they said Peter Parker, and I like paused the episode and I went, Peter Parker's me? And then I started thinking more about it.
Oh, I got to think about which one I think you're the most like of the 3 iterations that we have on screen.
I know which one I want to be the most like.
We can't all be Andrew Garfield, okay?
I know, but
he's a rare one, my friend.
More reasons than just like
that he's
what I've
sexy?
said about him. Well,
that he's
no,
so
what
sexy?
I've said about him that I can't say now because spoilers.
I know.
I feel like I am also the epitome, so or can be a very good example.
I think there's a better
Toby.
example.
Don't call me Toby.
I think there's I'm not going to call you Toby because Toby's a fucking goober. I don't know. I think you have a lot of Tom in you. I do.
I don't see that at all.
I do, especially in this one.
Well,
yeah, like the bridge scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it in this one. No, I'm so sorry. You do have some Toby.
It's just because
I'm so sorry. There's some Toby.
That seemed like the easier option at the time than just picking up the phone.
Oh yeah, common sense for sure. I will say each of their reactions to the MIT letters were like very indicative of their houses. But yeah, so all right. We will be sorting Toby's movies. We will be sorting Andrew's movies.
Yeah, here's the thing too. Like Rachel and I argued over we should just do the 3 Spider-Mans, but I feel like MJ and whoever Peter's friend in whatever universe it is don't get their, whether it's Ned or Harry Osborn or whoever, don't get their due anyway. So we really wanted to make sure that we talked about them, even though we would love to talk about how all 3 Peters relate to one another. But I guess whoever we do last is when we get to talk about that. Yeah. So I guess we'll have to be strategic about which one we want to do last. But
that'll be fun. George will have to be on that one.
Yeah.
He's very excited.
I thought he was supposed to be here tonight.
Yeah, I think he wants to do Toby's.
He can't do both. He was like, I only do one Spider-Man.
Yeah, he really loves Toby. Which, you know what? Who doesn't?
You know what I've been thinking more about? So you know our scales, right? Left side, right side, Slytherin or whatever. I feel like
ooh, what are you giving away right now?
I'm not giving away anything. Okay. I think those scales, whichever side you're on, relate closest to the next house. So I think right side Hufflepuffs relate to left side Slytherins, and then they all connect in a circle like that. Oh,
that's interesting.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about why George likes Toby the best.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I think the other yeah.
Yo, I could talk about Tobey Maguire's fucking Spider-Man for like, that's going to be a long episode because he's hilarious. Bully Maguire, my man.
Jesus,
I love him.
Andrew Garfield Spider-Man going, do you have another outfit, or are you just going to dress like a cool youth pastor for this?
Okay, now we are revealing that, but I've been trying not to say it. I've been trying not to say that.
Say what?
That they're in there.
Oh my God, there's no way to say that. We told people there are spoilers that they wouldn't want to hear. Like,
oh my
sorry.
God, they were all fucking in it. Oh my God,
Really
they were all in it.
So is Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And he left a little bit of venom behind. So
he
that's
sure
gonna be a
did.
thing. I just want to talk about the potential that they set up to have Andrew Garfield come back and do Spider-Man movies separate.
I felt like they
from
did
the
that on
MCU.
purpose because the potential was so like blatant.
They blatantly were like, find your MJ. Like, you know,
I
like
know.
blatantly. I was like,
know.
It would be so cool. I think they could do it because, you know,
he looks amazing.
Putting all these characters, like I've been talking to people about this all day. The fact that they got like not just the 3 Spider-Mans, they also had Doctor Strange, right? And Ned and MJ. All of these characters had room to breathe and have a story, and it was still about Tom Holland's Peter Parker.
Yeah, it was.
And so, like, I think it would be very easy for them to have 2 concurrently running Spider-Man stories that are still, like, very Spider-Man, but also very different. Obviously, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is in a much different place than Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man would be if they brought that back. And also, somebody told me Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is the only one they can picture with Deadpool, and I agree with that, and I want to see it.
I don't agree with that.
You don't
agree with that, no.
Why?
I mean, I think he would be amazing with Deadpool, but I can see Tom Holland with him too. Like 1,000%.
Not in the way that it's supposed to be.
Well, they're not all perfectly adapted to the comic. But
what do you mean?
Like
Tom's too young.
Oh, you mean to like
weird.
bang?
No, not to bang. Just the way that they talk to each other. Tom's too young, and he doesn't do the quips.
Yeah, Andrew does have that swagger.
Yeah,
he's the only one.
And
I was talking about him so much.
Andrew was the only one that can do the Peter Parker quips, which is like all I really look for in my Peter Parker. So
he's my favorite Spider-Man. So
yeah,
I don't know, but I think that Tom is incredible. They all really are. I didn't like not enjoy any of those movies. I enjoyed all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think that Andrew got fucked.
Yeah, the script that he was given. It's like, which is why I, again, was so happy that he was in this movie, because I think he was given
multiple redemptions.
Yeah, I know. He was given quite a bit for the amount of time that he was allowed, but it was also very little in the grand scheme of things, and he did so much with it.
Yeah.
Like, so much. And you can tell Andrew loves playing Peter Parker.
You can tell he loves the character.
Yeah.
And you can tell he has a lot of respect for Toby. Even just like in the movie, you can see he has a lot of respect for Toby, which I loved. I loved that. Oh, it was so good. I mean,
it must have been so cool to be on the set with like the villains that you played with in your movie. And yeah, it must have been so cool. I just want to give a shout out to Jamie Foxx. He was amazing.
Yeah, he was.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Like I think Max is the only one that I initially felt bad for. Like the other ones, I was like, and I don't know.
No, I feel bad for the sand dude.
Well, a little, yeah. And also, Dr. Octavius, I love, like, genuinely.
Yeah, I love him too.
I love him. He's a very complex character, so I was really happy what happened with him in this movie. But
that was wonderful. Mm-hmm. That was really good. They made every good choice that they could have possibly made, even though like it leaves you with certain questions, and maybe I've already seen people saying that certain things don't make sense or blah 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 retcon blah blah blah. It was like the best you could have ever hoped for. They gave you if you are a Spider-Man fan, you got everything. Like you're gonna complain?
No, you really did, and it wasn't like fan service getting it either. And like I know when this has had time to settle, people are gonna start bitching about how like it went backwards.
Yeah,
but it didn't, because this Peter was never there.
Right.
He immediately started off with Tony Stark as his mentor in like Avengers tech and having Doctor Strange on speed dial. Like he never. Spider-Man has always been very little resources, blue collar.
This is why people didn't like Tom's.
Yeah.
A lot of the hubbub is like, that he didn't work for it.
Yeah. Well, they were like, now he's gonna. So.
Yeah. It's almost like they gave you like the fun kid for a couple movies, and he fucks up and it's fine. And now he really, really better get his shit together, because he's fucked.
You know, and I think that we'll definitely talk about that in the sorting, because when he makes the decision that he is not going to do what he said he would do, and he's going to go this way instead.
Big house moment.
Yeah, it is a big house moment.
Well, we are going to do Ned, MJ, and Peter, of course.
Yeah.
So shall we start with
From
Ned?
this point on, it's all MCU.
Oh yeah, I can't
Except-
do the
No.
can't do comics. Sorry guys, I didn't read them. And
no,
we're
well, you
not
can't do
talking
comics
about
and you
Andrew
can't do
or Toby.
Or Andrew. Toby or Andrew might
They may come up.
because Peter speaks to them and
And
the
so
way
does
he
Ned,
interacts
so
with
does
other
MJ.
people. Yeah, and the way he interacts with other people can mean something. But
We'll get there, guys. We'll get there when we get there. Stop.
I don't think it's even on our next year's schedule. Any of them.
Well, they have to be.
Well,
We're gonna have to fix that.
I know. I left. Yeah.
We made the schedule in like 2 seconds. We were on Zoom and we were like,
we were like, sure,
shit this out right now.
let's do Gossip Girl. Yeah, I just have to rewatch the whole thing.
What do we like?
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
if Rachel was like, the Doctor Who companions, or at least 10s, have to be on there because we just rewatched. We were like,
well, this is what like me and George were talking about too. This felt like the Doctor Who 50th, but on a massive scale.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because he's like, oh my God, he's like the Doctor. This is like the Doctor. And I mean, like, in a way, yeah. And it was really just nice seeing everybody come together. I can't think of another time it's happened besides Doctor Who's 50th, where you meet other versions of yourself and all the other villains and all the other, like.
I feel like, I can't think of a specific. I feel like this happens quite a bit, but it's always like very blatant fan service, you know?
I don't know
like,
that it happens on this scale. Like, not quite like this.
I mean, Into the Spider-Verse did it on a bigger scale than this, but.
Sure, but I mean, this was like, it's, I don't want to compare everything to Harry Potter, but it's like when you grow up with the franchise, the way that like regular viewers did, not necessarily like animated cartoon watchers or comic readers. Like this is also like basic audience people who maybe even aren't superhero people still grew up with this, and this was enormous for like the population.
I will say too, like, because they just announced, I can't tell if it's like for positive or not, but they did say they wanted to do another Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland, which is great because they should.
I think it was announced.
I couldn't remember if it was like official or if Kevin Feige was just like, yeah, definitely want to. But I would love to see like this young Avengers team that they're building that is so far only hot women is great. I would love to see like Peter pop in as Spider-Man because nobody knows Peter Parker and like pop out again real quick or whatever, and
that would be
like
great.
Build that like they attempted to shove him into the Tony Stark role as soon as Tony died and he wasn't ready for it. It would be great if he could actually like build for it, work for it, whatever. But
it would be. He's gonna have to work hard. So like all the people who are constantly bitching about it, I've seen it for years. They're like, he's just like this funny little kid who gets everything handed to him.
They hate the metal suit. They hate Iron Spider. Like, yeah.
And like I understand because especially when you watch Toby's and Andrew's, and especially Toby's, he works hard.
Yeah.
Toby has to really. Oh my God, he gets screwed every which way.
Well, Andrew works real hard too, and it's not just the it's not just like the working like fighting against people and blah blah blah.
It's the
or whatever.
moral war in you.
The morals that you fight with, and also the technical shit that you fight with. Like Andrew's breaking into like his lab, like in order to make the web shit or whatever. And I think we saw Tom once like mixing it in science class, but mostly he calls up Tony and is like, or Tony hands him his suit.
We're happy.
So yeah, so
he has a lot of support.
Yeah, there is that scene when he gets stuck in Denmark in the second one. He calls Happy and Happy comes and gets him on the jet. Like,
yeah, no, and it's like best case scenario. For a kid who comes into these kinds of powers and everything. And it was kind of, I liked seeing it. Like, you always think like, oh, what if they had like what if in a universe, right, when something is not being used, like we had this in Supernatural a lot where you're just like, well, why isn't Cass here? Like, Cass could have fixed this. When you watch MCU, like Marvel movies, sometimes you're like, well, like Captain Marvel could have, like, or like Thor could have just come down and fucking fixed this. And for Peter, you get to see Tony fix things and help him. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was very different. And I like that he came back to what Peter Parker's supposed to be. He's going to have to pay his dues now. Poor thing. Poor thing, man. That's a
it's so sad too
deal.
because it's so different from like Tony built him up and then Tony died. So you're like, that was it, right? So now he's going to like be paying his dues or whatever, or like getting ready to take over. And he clearly didn't want, like, it's just a completely different lesson. Like, it's very different. And it does make me a little sad because Tony was so happy that he was doing so well with Peter. Like, I just rewatched the movies and like multiple times he was like, "Oh, my dad was never like this with me. Like, I want to make sure I praise you, blah 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 blah." And he was clearly very proud of Peter and saw him as like a surrogate son or whatever. But Happy does make a comment too that that Tony wouldn't have it. I think they're talking about Edith, the glasses, and he says something like Tony wouldn't have done all this. Tony wouldn't have left the Earth if he didn't think that you were like set to go or whatever. So, but it makes me kind of sad that like I don't know. They're gonna have to
get me out of my Tony feels right now. I don't need this.
I know. The writers are gonna have to work really hard to not erase the things that he got from Tony. You know, because it'd be very easy for them to be like, start all over. Like, he's got to go all the way back and start all over. He has to. I really want him to be able to build on what he got from Tony in the Avengers. But we're doing like analysis of like the movie and the storyline. Do you want to start? Should we start with Peter, or do you want to start with one of the others?
I don't know. I love all three of them, which is new for me in a Spider-Man movie.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll tell you more when we get to the other movies and we start them, but this is the first time I really loved everybody in the cast. I loved everybody in his circle. I really I liked everybody, so I could talk about all of them. I don't care.
All right, well, I'm letting you choose.
Let's go, wait, what did you say?
I said I'm letting you choose.
Okay. We're going to go alphabetically. M, N, P. Yeah, okay, so we're starting with MJ.
Okay. Good job for doing the alphabet.
You're so welcome. I was like, L-M-N-O-P? I had to remember their names first.
They're all in a row.
They are. Otto Octavia. Why are you looking at me like that?
I was waiting for you to say something about MJ.
I love MJ. This is the superior fucking MJ for real.
Sorry, Kirsten Dunst.
And she's not Mary Jane. She's Michelle Jones, so fine.
Right. Michelle Jones Watson, yep.
She's MJ, and she's better than the other MJ. I don't like the other one. Anyway, yeah, I really fucking love her. She, from the very first Tom Holland movie, oh my God, she had me dying just with her face.
She's not really in the movie, the first one, a ton.
No, she's just looking, though.
Yeah,
she's staring
she's watching him.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, there's that scene when they first talked to her when they're in the lunchroom and they're both staring at Liz.
She's in it.
Yeah,
she's in it a fair bit, and every time she's in it, she says something that's so her house.
They're staring at Liz and they're like gossiping about her, and she says something.
Yeah, she goes, losers.
She's like, you guys are losers, and they're like, why are you sitting alone? She's like, because I don't have any friends. Like, duh.
And she goes back to her drawing or whatever she's doing. She's like in detention drawing, and they're like, you're not even supposed to be here. She's like, I like to see people in in distress. So
right,
it's just my thing. Oh, she's so funny. MJ is. I think a lot of people would want to put her in a logic house. I think, like, naturally, they want to go there. Because when you look at these three characters, even in general, they're science nerds. Mm-hmm. So, and then you've got the stereotypical house people where they're like, book cleverness, and they're so smart, Ravenclaw, Slytherin. No, MJ doesn't belong there.
I think you might also want to put her in a logic house because of how much she's like, I hate people. I don't want to deal with people, blah, blah, blah. It's... No, do you want to say her? You say her house.
Yeah, she's a Gryffindor.
Yeah,
she's hella Gryffindor. That really whole thing where she doesn't like people and I love is that a Gryffindor she's like a
unique Gryffindor. Yeah, no, and I was gonna explain like how it's a Gryffindor. It's like, and it's not logic, because I say it all the time. Like, I'm a Slytherin. I'm like, I don't have the energy to deal with people. I hate people. Mm-hmm. She like, she's watching people all the time. She has the energy so much. She feels it so much. She's like, I don't want you to speak to me. Like, I'm taking up all this emotional energy just taking you in. Like,
the big thing too, and you can categorically see this across all Gryffindors, is the observant, the way that they are observant. Now, with a lot of Gryffindors, it's because of like weird traumas. You have to be hyper aware of other people's feelings and other people's ongoings. We don't know much about MJ's backstory, but what I do know about her just from watching her is that she's wildly observant. She's watching everything. Mm-hmm. And she's not watching it to just sit on knowledge like a Ravenclaw would, to like hoard it.
No, she
really wants to know.
She's like, when's the perfect time to speak up?
So in talking about the like is observancy a word?
No.
No. The nature of the observance of a Gryffindor, it's fucking there, okay? And I can prove it. Like, Harry Potter will not let the Draco Malfoy thing go in book 6.
No, he's...
Okay? He's watching. He's like, I know he's doing something. He's up to something.
No, I'm sorry, but this is so Gryffindor. It's related to this, right? So Peter takes MJ out, and he's going to tell her that he loves her, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, I have some, or that he likes
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. So he's like, I have something to tell you. And she's like, are you going to tell me you're Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He's like, no, why would I tell you that? And it basically comes down to she's been watching him and she thinks that he's Spider-Man. And he's like, were you only watching me because you thought I was Spider-Man? And she was like, well, yeah. Like, obviously she's lying. But she was like, well, yeah. And then she's like, and then here's this huge Gryffindor paradox where she's been watching him and she is so sure. She's like, there's literally no other explanation unless you're a stripper. And he's like, I'm not a stripper. And she's like, yeah, I don't think you are. So you're Spider-Man. But then Peter is still like trying to be like, no, I'm not. And she's like, wait, are you not actually Spider-Man? Like, the Gryffindor paradox where she was so sure. And
That's
then
so
she was
funny
like
that you
double
said
guessing
that.
herself. She was like, wait, maybe you're not Spider. There's literally no other explanation. And she's like, I could be wrong. And it's like,
she's kind of she's down a little bit. She comes off so confident. In a lot of Gryffindors, it's very clear posturing, and in MJ, it's not clear. No. You can very easily be swindled by it.
She this is like the last thing that she does in the first movie too. It's like that one lunch table scene and then at the very end when Liz is gone and they promote her to the decathlon captain or whatever. Right. First of all, it's so funny because she's like been silent the whole movie. So and also like I don't care about school functions. I don't care about people or whatever. She immediately is like, yeah, I'm the captain and here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna do this. This is like very clear leader. Yeah. And then Peter's like, I have to go to the bathroom, and she's like, why? What are you hiding? What do you need to do, Peter? And Peter's like staring at her like, and then she's like, I actually don't care. I don't give a shit what you're doing.
I don't give a fuck. But she cares so later. Much, though.
Yeah. She's like, I'll figure it out on my own later.
And she will. She will. I mean, I think, I like her explanation, too. She's like, I just don't, like, have a lot of luck with people. Like, I don't get close to people easily. Yeah. Because people are stupid, like, don't get me. So, so I just lied. I lied.
Or like her fucking like catchphrase that they put in this last movie, where she's like, "Always expect disappointment, and then you'll never be disappointed."
That's literally my tagline of life. That's it. As we were exiting the theater, George was like, "You didn't believe the 3 Spider-Man were in." I was like, "Expect disappointment, and you won't be disappointed."
I can go with the obvious thing too, that she is hugely stuck on her morality.
No, yeah,
like the one line in the first movie when they go to the Washington Monument, and he's like, MJ, the teacher's like, MJ, are you coming? She's like, I don't really want to go into a building that's built by slaves. And she's like, I want to get a quick protest in at an embassy later. Like, she's very
or later they're like, oh, it's damage control from when Cap took down the Skycraft carriers. Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, pretty sure he was like trying to save us from like tyranny, like that's the thing that happened. And she's like, that's what they want you to think. Like, distrust of the government to the max. And I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna mouth something to Lauren.
Okay.
So you don't get to hear it. But the kind of Gryffindor that she reminds me of is
I am seeing a name that is not the one you're saying, and it's really funny to me.
Well, I'm going to put it in the chat then.
Yeah, please put it in the chat because...
And you can analyze my typing. She gives me that.
This name is nothing like the one you gave me. I thought you were saying Ned Bigelow from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
Is he a Gryffindor?
I don't know. I was like, I need to think about this.
Ned Bigelow from Nickelodeon?
He probably absolutely was. He was making up rules on how to slack off in school and then sharing it with his classmates. So.
Yeah. Well, and MJ has this too, where you look at her and you don't think that she's the fucking genius that she is because she gives off the, like, I don't care about anything attitude. Meanwhile, she's a goddamn genius who would have gotten into MIT.
She did get into MIT.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, she would have gotten in if not for the shit that happened.
Yeah, but then she did.
But a man stopped her because we gotta be fucking simps out here for these fools. And look what happens, MJ, and all of you out there listening.
Oh my God. Get off your soapbox.
Fuck Spider-Man.
So still like no, okay, but still like staying on the morality thing.
Yeah.
She is she's like 100% with Peter's decision about the Sinister Six. She's like, yeah, this is what you're going to do. Like, of course, like I think it's Octavius that's like, why are you doing this? You could have just killed us. And she's like, because that's not who he is. Like, yeah, that's not him. She when he at the beginning of the movie when he's like, you know, the feds are coming after him or whatever, and like all those reporters, she like does not waver for a second. She's holding his hand in front of everybody. They're like harassing her, and she does not care. Yeah, there's people like screaming at like, MJ, he's a murderer. You're with a murderer. Yeah. She does not give a shit. She's like, I know that's not true.
She's picked her side. She knows like she's weighted against everything else. The only thing she's concerned about is like, stay away from my dad. He hates you.
Yeah, but and that was such a throwaway thing because because her dad loves him. She was just like, I assume he hates you now because of this thing that just came out in the news. But if he does actually hate him, you can expect that MJ was like, I don't care. Like, I'm dating him. So. Oh,
yeah, for sure. Just like, don't come to my house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what they say. Just don't come over.
Right.
She's that kind of character for sure. She, I also, very Gryffindor to look at Doctor Strange and go, I know a magic word. That's please. Perhaps you should say please.
You say please?
She was so sincere about it. And he's
I'm so mad we can't talk about that motherfucker until May.
I know. We have a lot to say about him.
It's been building for a while. He's insane. There's so much to say about him in his house.
Oh, man. I love when Ned is like telling her about he's Spider-Man or whatever. And she's like, he's like, when did he tell you blah, blah, blah? And she's like, I figured it out. Like a long time ago, I figured it out.
Yeah. Just like I knew. Just let him have his privacy, but I knew.
She is just like the ultimate observer. She's constantly taking everything in from everyone. It's just that she's doing it without any emotion on her face, so you don't think she's doing it. But she's watching, and she's listening. She's taking it in. And she's thinking about, like, how best to help you. Not how best to, like, use it against you, even though she pretends like she's bullying them and calling them losers and nerds and whatever. She's taking it in, and she's thinking about how to, like, add something good to the equation. Always. She's always trying to add good to it.
That's what I thought the FaceTime call they did was so cute. Because it was like the first time that she really, like, all of that stuff that she had observed, it was just like coming out in conversation. Yeah. It was very cute.
Oh, I love them.
I know.
I love their love.
I know. Also, I was telling Rachel of another couple that these two were reminding me of, but from MJ's side being a Gryffindor. So the movie ends, Peter's like, you're going to forget who I am. And she's like, okay, you have to come find me immediately. And she's like, and if you don't, I'll fucking hunt you down. And she's like serious about it. She's like, Peter's like, you're going to forget who I am. She's like, I'm going to come find you.
Yeah, because, it's such a Gryffindor thing where you're like, you're so sure of your feelings. You're so sure of yourself in your feelings, at least. You're like, no magic spell could ever.
She tells him too. She's like, don't say I love you until you find me again. Yeah. Like, I don't want to hear it. Yeah.
Oh, they're going to drag that.
I know.
You're gonna drag it out. People are like, oh, they're gonna give him a Gwen in the meantime. Get the fuck. You do that, I'm out.
Why would he date
you know,
is that your warning to Marvel?
You hear me out there, you mouse fuck? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Mickey ass bitch. All right. Well, she's very clear. I don't know. I really do feel like our sorts for Ned and Peter, maybe not Peter. I feel like Ned won't get as much pushback as like MJ. If I feel like
Ned won't get as much pushback as anybody.
No, not at all. But she's like a clear Gryffindor to me. She's sarcastic.
She's a clear Gryffindor.
She's like,
and Rachel swore when I told her what she was, because we had other people sorted first. But
I swore.
Yes, you got mad. You were watching Toby's, and you were like, "I'm still not sure." Yeah,
I was mad.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I wasn't mad about this MJ. I actually like her. So. I'm so sorry, Kirsten Dunst. I just can't, like, I can't fucking do it. I can't. It's too much. If not for Bully Maguire saving those movies. All right. Well,
you don't like the upside down kiss, which when I watched it again looks actually quite uncomfortable and awkward.
You're fucking. First of all, that kiss looks disgusting. It looks gross. It is so impractical.
If you don't look at their lips, it looks very cool.
Yeah, if you don't look at their lips, correct. Yeah, but like number one, kissing in the rain, gross. It's gross. In the shower, anything with what? It's just not practical. It's not hot. And then they're upside down. And then they're like, look at her hard nipples too. Because this is like right out of the 90s. Like Jennifer Aniston and Friends, but just fucking look at them. They're so hard. And like, it's all I can look at in that scene.
And those were Toby's nipples.
Mouths.
They weren't Kirsten's.
Were his hard too? Because all I could look at were hers. Because she's hot and everything. But like, why are you doing that to me? Just make it cute. No, they had to make it sexual. Whatever. It's a gross kiss, but it's like cool and iconic. So
It's
they
iconic,
can keep
yeah.
it. They can keep it.
They
can
can
have
keep
it.
it.
Oh my God, I have so much to say about Toby's. Oh my God.
I have so
This
much to
is
say
so
about
hard.
Andrews, but you know. So that's MJ. She's a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
If there's
Huge.
some pushback on that, I don't know.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you should watch the movies again. You can be good at science and still be a Gryffindor. Elle
Yeah,
Woods
and you
is a
can
fucking
be-
genius.
And you can be like, you can hate life and living and still be a Gryffindor. Like,
Yeah,
and
hi,
totally
me.
show that
I really
all
like.
the time. Yeah, but you're fairly like peppy.
To who? To you?
Yeah, like you're engaging. Like if people meet you, they're like, yeah, Rachel's a nice person. MJ's kind of like, you're
Yeah,
like,
but
this
inside.
seems difficult to get near, but like,
I just really feel her on a lot of things.
mhm.
I'm just like, I understand her deeply.
Yeah,
What we don't have in common is that she's a loner. And
yeah.
I don't even know. I know it's by choice. She says it's by choice, but I feel like a lot of Gryffindors
That's what
do
I was
this.
thinking too. I think a lot of Gryffindors are extroverts, and I don't know that she is an introvert.
Right.
She just chooses.
She chooses not to have-
easier,
yeah.
It's easier for her to function by not being
It's-
like, yeah.
Well, I mean, Bucky has this too, but Bucky is like a war criminal and he has a fuck ton of guilt and whatever. And Wanda has it too, but Wanda's a fucking insane. So it's like, you know. But even the ones like Tony, like Tony has Rhodey and he has
Mhm.
Pepper, right?
Mhm.
And like that's like all he really trusts in the world at a certain point in.
Yeah. No, but
You know?
he gets his but I guess that's what makes her an extrovert, even though she doesn't like engage with a lot of people, is she gets her energy from being around people, even though
She
she's
does.
just watching them, you know?
Yeah,
like,
she does. I don't know. I know that it's like a very Slytherin thing to say, like Lauren said before, like I don't have the energy for this. And I really feel like she just needs to charge. And then she definitely has the energy for it. Because
it's not that she never has the energy like I do. It's that she actually uses all of it every day. So
Yeah, she
it's
does.
Like,
also, kudos to her Gryffindor ass for thinking the same thing I did when she had that box, didn't hear from Peter. I was like, press the button.
were you saying
Send
that
him
in the
back,
theater?
press the
Because
fucking
I
button.
was in the theater.
Yup.
I was like, press it now, because
Press it now.
I thought that's what would make Andrew show up. But then luckily,
Oh my
the other
God.
thing- yeah.
So see, no, I was like, this is stupid. Like, press it. Why are you waiting for him to tell
To
you?
be fair, I was also like, this is stupid, because they're literally seeing on TV that, huge spoiler, Aunt May died, and that all the bad guys are out of the building. And Peter
Right.
had given the caveat, if they do bad things, I'll text you, press
Right.
the button. And then you see them doing bad things on the TV, and she's like, I should probably press the button now. And Ned, speaking to his house, is like, we haven't heard from Peter yet. And
Yeah,
I'm
shut
like,
up,
dude,
you little
I
bastard.
think
She should have pressed the
I
button.
think the newsreel with J. Jonah Jameson is the text from
Oh,
Peter.
man.
Like,
That slimy fuck.
Like, you think he's going to take the time to text you after his aunt just died in his arms and he ran from the
That
feds
and, like-
shooting at him?
They don't even know. He could be knocked the fuck out.
Right. Yeah, they could have kidnapped him.
I think
In
that
which
was the
case,
dumbest part of the movie. It was like the only dumb part of the movie. Like they should
Yeah.
they should have pressed it, but they couldn't.
They should have immediately.
They couldn't because they needed Andrew and Toby.
Mhm.
So like I forgive it. Like we're all going to collectively as a population forgive it.
Right.
But she was right that she should have pressed it.
Yeah.
And I was screaming. I
I
was
mean,
like,
to be fair,
"Press
she
the
was
button!"
she was ready to too until
Yeah.
Ned was like doing the thing,
I
the
know.
ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, she would have. Which I like. Sorry, that's a Gryffindor thing. Like coming, like I really don't care. I'm gonna immediately take control of this.
I mean, I
situation.
guess it also speaks to like Ned was the one who was like, we need to hear from Peter, but she was also like, I wish Peter were here. And
Yeah.
it speaks to like the role that Peter has in that threesome, that those two are relying on him.
Yeah. Well, he's Big Daddy. Okay.
Yeah, he is Big Daddy. He is Big Daddy.
But okay, well, let's move into Ned's house because we are talking a little bit about Ned. It feels
Yeah.
natural. Just roll into him.
Okay.
Ned, man. Ned is so fucking funny.
I love Ned.
Oh
I'm really
my
glad they
God.
added him. Like, he's not based on any character that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
He's
there's
great.
a Ned Leeds, I think, in the comics. So Ned, he's the guy in the chair.
Mhm.
Okay, and everyone in his house is the guy in the chair. So if they're not the main hero of their movie,
Wow.
They're the guy in the chair.
What a thing to say.
why? They're fucking cool. They're in there making sure that everything goes
They're
right.
the Q.
They They're the genius hackers who are making sure that the person gets in and out. What the fuck is that?
From James Bond?
Okay, I've never seen that. I don't care. I don't know. I hate James Bond. Gross.
That's literally what Guy in the Chair comes from, is that James Bond has this guy named Q.
Okay.
Fucking sits in a chair
Good
and like feeds him all his shit over his earpiece.
Yeah, if you don't have a guy in the chair, you're fucking fucked.
Or like a National Treasure.
Sure.
Fucking, yeah.
Yes, you need that guy. Yeah. Kim Possible couldn't have done it without her guy in the chair.
Wait.
And his naked mole rat.
Wait, Ron Stoppable was the one with the naked mole mat.
Yeah, and the naked... Well, it's hers too.
No, it's not.
God, yes it is.
No,
they
it's
all
not.
shared that naked mole rat.
He got it at the stop.
I know, but I'm saying it's part of like her... Oh my God, I don't mean she owns it and puts it in a cage at night. Christ.
Nobody puts Rufus in a cage.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, like, if you don't have this person that Ned plays, you're like super fucked. We just saw that. We literally just saw this in Die Hard.
Where he doesn't have a guy, or he has
There was the guy in the chair who was outside.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Who was a Hufflepuff. Hello. Welcome. You guys are the geniuses behind the scenes, for sure. In many cases, you are the guy on the inside. You are totally the support team. Now, there are times where you are also the hero. Like, you are very clearly the hero. But then, like, look how fucked Thor gets all the time because he doesn't have a guy in the chair. He doesn't have a Hufflepuff.
Thor is his Hufflepuff ass. Thor is his own guy in the chair, and that's why he fucks.
Your obsession with the Slytherin is what'll get you in the end.
He's like, should I go to the Biofrost and kill everybody there? Yes, I should. Good job, Thor.
Good job, me. I love me. No, but it's like even.
I'm sorry.
No, but you do need it.
You're right. Regina's her own guy.
Yeah, if they don't have one, they're fucked. It's like, it's so sad. Like, I'm so sorry that Hufflepuffs can't be their own Hufflepuff. Like, you guys need one.
You need another one.
You really do. You need a good Hufflepuff in your life because Peter really needs Ned.
Yes.
Like, he really does. Ned is a goddamn genius. He should have worked for Stark.
He should have. And he kept Peter like grounded.
He really did.
Like, and it's so funny because this kind of thing can be real like Ned's obviously like the second he finds out that Peter's Spider-Man, he's like begging him to be his guy in the chair, wants to help him like be and it's so easy for that to come off as like this guy's so desperate and the guy he's begging is obviously like really like annoyed by it or is like is pandering to him, like he's throwing him a bone, but he doesn't really like. Peter is genuinely grateful to Ned, and Ned is like genuinely helping him. It never feels like
real
pandering
best friends.
And it's like, and it's so, and like fucking Ned is hacking the Stark suit for Peter, and Ned's like, I don't think you should be doing this. Like, you have training wheels for a reason. Or like when he at the end of that first movie when Peter steals Flash's car and Ned is like the literal guy in the chair in the computer lab or whatever. And he's like pulling up, like he's so excited to be doing it. He's like pulling up the schematics of the car to tell Peter how to turn on the headlights and is like.
Can I just say, telling the teacher that he was looking up porn.
I was say
genius.
It's very Hufflepuff too.
It was very Hufflepuff, and it was a very good excuse. It was very good.
I mean, he was like probably suspended, but
yeah, I thought it was great. Oh my God, very Hufflepuff answer for sure.
Him getting a girlfriend on an 8-hour plane ride.
Oh God, please, I can't. We're gonna be bachelors in Europe, Peter. What happened to bachelors in Europe? Listen, when those were the words of a boy. The boy has become a man, Peter. Well, look, okay, so this is so Hufflepuffs can see. I don't think that Hufflepuffs are social climbers, but I think that they know their value. And very similar to Slytherins.
They know their value. Yeah, if
their value is not recognized, it's annoying to them. Where I think with like, it's a little different with the Slytherin, but
no, I was going to say here's the difference: is that Slytherins know the value in themselves solely, and Hufflepuffs know it in relation to others. So like I've been saying constantly, they know where they fit in, and they're like, you can't fire me, I quit, because like you know, like they know exactly how much they mean to you.
Well, that's why it's so like.
They're not necessarily as confident in themselves and like what they mean to themselves, but they're like, I know what I mean to you.
I do think that's Ned. I don't see Ned having a lot of self-confidence, but I see him having a lot of a lot of confidence in his friendships, in his relationship, in his role, in his duties. Like, he's very Hufflepuff. His whole thing is being useful to Peter, but also, like, having that usefulness recognized. He wants the school to not look at him like a nerd anymore because he's not a nerd. It's annoying to him. It's not, like, hurting his feelings. Do you know what I mean? He's not, like, crying about it. He's just like, this is stupid. You're Spider-Man. Like, we should not be these guys.
Right. He's bragging about it. Yeah. When he goes into that party and he's wearing the hat and May's like, it takes a lot to pull off that hat. And he's like, yeah, I got it. And like, obviously, like, he calls Peter and is like, you better not show up because they're yelling like Penis Parker or whatever.
Right.
So he's like totally aware that the hat isn't working. And he's like, maybe this isn't my bet. But he's like, he's trying to figure out, like, how do I get value with these other people? Like, how are you going to see that I'm cool? I thought putting on a hat would make you realize it, but like,
you're still too dumb to realize. All right, Peter, we gotta do something else. Right. People are still too stupid.
Right.
And he's also like very much of. I feel like oftentimes Gryffindors are a voice of reason or moral reasoning. Like at the end, like in the end game, where you're like they're yelling it at you, like you should have known not to do that. You should have known that was wrong.
It's very annoying.
Like Ned. And this is very Hufflepuff, they're the voice of reason throughout, which is equally as annoying because you have someone behind you going, oh, so what, you're lying to Iron Man now? What, you want to be a high school dropout? And you're like, shut up, Annie Edison. Shut up. But they're right. They're right. He shouldn't have been lying to Tony. He shouldn't have been saying, oh, I'm far beyond high school now, Ned. Like, no. You know? You need a Hufflepuff to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, but...
What do you disagree with?
Nothing. I just think Peter was right. But
shut up. Shut up.
But no, and yeah, in that second movie when Peter gets Edith to like divert them all because the monsters come in and they can't go to the carnival in Italy or whatever. He's like he gets the opera tickets and you see Ned look at him like eyes wide and Peter like just nods and Ned's like, this is something Peter's doing. And then he's like, everybody's like, I'm not going to the fucking opera. And Ned's like, I think it'll be culturally enriching. Like he's helping Peter. Or we were talking about too, when the FBI takes in Peter and Aunt May and MJ and Ned, MJ and Aunt May are, I think Aunt May is a Gryffindor. Sorry, I was just throwing that out there. We can do that real quick.
Which one? I'm just kidding. Yeah,
this one. I think she's a Gryffindor. She's dead, so we're never going to talk about her. But
is that how that works?
Well, how are we going to talk about her? We're not doing any more characters from this.
Yeah, she is a Gryffindor.
Yeah, she is. I was just thinking about their very similar responses to the federal agent, but but Ned gets cracked immediately.
Yeah,
and
he does.
It's because the federal agent is suggesting that MJ knew that Peter was Spider-Man before Ned did.
How dare
And Ned
they?
is immediately like, he's like, so like, how can you not know how important I am to Peter? Let me list all the ways that incriminate me of how important I am to Peter.
I also like oh my God, the whole bus scene where Peter's like, and he should cause distraction. He just goes, holy shit, we're all gonna die. The spaceship's gonna fucking kill us. Everybody get down. Like, no hesitation.
Yeah.
Like, other houses will be like, what do you mean? What the fuck are you talking about? I'll just cause a distraction. I'll just pull one out of my ass.
It's so funny that you say that, too, because half the time when I watch that scene, I think that Ned didn't even register. He just saw the spaceship, and that was what he yelled. So.
No, I just think that he's confident in his duty to, like, aid Peter.
Right.
Immediately. Like, he's always on. He's ready to, like, do whatever he needs to do. It's not just for Peter. He's not like Peter's little bitch boy. Mm-hmm. It's for the good of literally everything, including himself. Like, he's furthering himself.
Coming back to, like, this could easily be, like, a desperate relationship or one where you feel like it's imbalanced. They actually... You don't. No, I was going to say, so Peter and MJ are dating in this third one, and they're talking about we're going to go to college together and we should house together or whatever. And Ned's right there, and he is like, yeah, I'm coming too. Or like Peter and MJ are holding hands like to our future, and Ned puts his hand in. And it doesn't feel like desperate or invasive. It's just like Ned's like, yeah, I belong here with these people. Like this is,
And you don't hear them talking about him like, oh, can you get Ned to leave? They love him.
Yeah, they love him. They're like, he absolutely belongs here. Like, and it's so, like, they open the MIT letters together, and it's, like, not just Peter and MJ, like, they're waiting for Ned. It's very cute.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say the opening of the letters, like I said before, like MJ immediately being like, yeah, I expected this. Nothing good happens.
Right.
Very Gryffindor. And Ned being like, all right, I got to show my parents. Immediately, I need to do my due diligence here.
Well, MJ rips it up. She's like, doesn't even matter anymore. Like, it's done. Yeah. And Ned's like, yeah, fuck MIT, and rips it up, and then is like, wait, I actually do need to show this to my parents, though.
Yeah, I have like a duty to fulfill over here. So sorry.
I have to let them know that I didn't make it in, and this is documentation saying
yeah.
so.
And I was telling Lauren, I love that he knows his grandma can speak English, but like she's yelling at Spider-Man, like, and not in English, and he's just translating. He's like, yes, okay, whatever, yes. This is what she's saying. And she's like, oh, I'm going to bed. And you're like, what the fuck, Ned? Like, you could have said. But he's like, no, she needed me to do it in that moment.
Yeah.
Always happy to help.
It's a cultural respect thing, yeah.
I think, but I think it's also a Hufflepuff.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Always happy to bleed for the Griffin, for the Winchesters.
But just because it's a cultural respect thing doesn't mean that you enjoyed doing it. And I think Ned was totally fine.
He was.
Yeah, he was totally, yeah. He clearly loved his grandma. And we're saying too, when Toby's working on his little like serum and Ned like slides over and is staring at him, he's like, do you have a best friend?
So tell me about me.
Yeah, he's like, so what's the other me? Yeah, that's what I was interested too. I was like, why do you go to Toby instead of Andrew? And then I was like, oh, because Toby just looks like an older Tom. You know, like Andrew you can tell is like not this Peter, but Toby's old enough that you're like, so he's like, so did you have a best friend? And Toby, like, totally straight face is like, yeah, I'm going to call them by their actor names because otherwise you're just going to have no idea who I'm talking about. No. So I had a best friend. He tried to kill me. He died in my arms. It was really tragic. And Ned just, like, slowly backs away. And then later on, he's, like, talking to Peter, and he's like, I'm magic now, and I promise I won't become so powerful and evil, and I try to kill you. And Peter's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's very Hufflepuff to, like, be reassuring of that. It was extremely Hufflepuff for, so Peter gets Ned and MJ over to the secret sanctum or whatever. And, you know, like Ned's all like, wow, the sanctum or whatever. And, he's very like, you know, impressed by the dungeon with the laundry machine in it. But, it was such a Hufflepuff thing for him to meet Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, even though Wong technically is now, I guess, but like the Sorcerer Supreme, and to be like, I think I can do magic. My fingers tingle sometimes. And like he's so he's like another way I could be useful. Can you tell me how to make the magic manifest? To like the greatest wizard in the world.
The greatest wizard. Like, oh my God. I just love him.
Which one?
I love him.
Ned or Steven?
No, Ned.
Okay.
Steven's another.
Yeah, I know.
He's a whole other story.
He's another story for you.
Can't wait. Oh, Ned. Well,
I don't know. It's we didn't talk. Well, I guess we mentioned a little bit. MJ was like, "I'm gonna find you," and I think Ned's response was super Hufflepuff too, because he didn't really fight it at all. He was like, "This is what you got to do, and I trust that you will find your way back to me." Because when Peter's like, when he's having his whole moment with MJ and is like, "I'm gonna find you," Ned's like, "Find me too," and then he's like, good to go. He's like, "I got faith. You'll get there." Yeah.
Oh, they have such a pure friendship.
They do.
It's not
they
at
did
all...
the little handshake, which is what I expected to see to make him remember, because it's muscle memory.
I know.
So I guess that's probably going to be coming up.
Yeah,
I expected it. I
know.
It much
they give me very Troy and Abed's. This was very sad for me.
Yes. Ooh.
Ooh. Not the same houses though.
No.
Well.
Similar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. So, you've got your Gryffindor, you've got your Hufflepuff, and I'm just going to let Lauren talk about Peter.
Why do I have to talk about Peter?
Who I will say, by the way, is a fucking Leo. So what's your obsession with us?
Is he Leo?
Yeah, August 10th. What's your deal? What do you want with us?
The Leos from Queens. What's your obsession with Slytherin Aries?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Go on.
I mean, don't lambast me or come for me or whatever, but Peter Parker's a Slytherin. I don't know what you want.
Okay, the only way, let me just like preface this. The only way you're going to lambast her I don't know how to say that word. The only way to come for her is if you are under the impression that Slytherins are still the bad house. If you are still under that impression, I don't want you listening
or that
to my
Slytherins
podcast.
can't do
Get
anything
the fuck
good
outta
ever.
here.
Like Slytherins never make good people choices.
It's just like
'cause that's less than being evil and more than just being like, but
let me explain. Many villains are Slytherins, okay? But it's not because Slytherin is bad. It's because villains possess a lot of fucking intelligence, okay? They see things in a certain way that maybe you don't. They have tons of passion, tons of ambition, tons of drive. Okay? So these are all good qualities. It's how you channel them.
If those are pointed towards something bad, it's not great.
Correct. And it's just easy to write them as villains because those are the attributes that make a good villain. But it doesn't mean that every villain is a Slytherin or that every Slytherin is a villain. It's ridiculous. So I got this shit and it pissed me off when we said Cap was a Slytherin. People were like, Cap is Slytherin?
In what world? Yeah.
He is. I'm so sorry that you don't understand sorting. I'm very sorry for you. Try listening to the show. Give it a chance. And then you'll see that you are dumb. And do not speak to me, actually. Because we love Slytherins here. I'm sorry.
Show.
I'm sorry. Like, I can't do it. Lauren was talking to a mutual friend that we know very well the other day. And she was in Nashville. And he had made mention that, well, Slytherin's the bad house. She's laughing. It was Jared Padalecki of Supernatural. And they were talking about houses because, Lauren does this. She sorts everyone.
For the 20 people that listen and then the 5 of you that actually care about supernatural fun facts or whatever.
Yeah.
This man, Jared Padalecki, don't find this podcast. This man looked me in the eye and said, I don't feel bad enough in my soul to be a Slytherin.
Like, the audacity. The fucking audacity.
He said, I feel too good in my soul to be a Slytherin.
So we're not going to publicly sort him because that goes against our rule. But you can extrapolate. You can figure it out. You're smart. Unless you think Slytherins are bad, then you're dumb, as I said, and you should feel bad. But Peter Parker is a Slytherin, and he's a great Slytherin. In contrast to, like, Steve Rogers. Just kidding, Hannah. I love you. We love Steve Rogers. But they are great
and here's
Slytherins.
The thing, too. Like, Rachel's definition of bad Slytherin is the ones that go so far right that they're, like, goody two-shoes. Like,
yeah, they just annoy me.
Yeah,
they just annoy me.
When you go very far right, you're either extremely goody two-shoes or, like, batshit Loki.
You're fucking insane. Like, I can't handle you. I'm very attracted to them, though. Like, I need to be friends with the left side ones. I can't deal with the right side ones.
The Lokis and the Steve Rogers of the world.
Oh, good Lord.
Lucky for her, I'm middle left, so.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm right there on the Natasha Romanoff line.
Well, she needs the right siders, so lucky for her that she's got a right side Gryffindor.
That's true. I do need the right side.
You do, because you're sick in the head. So, Peter Parker. When she said it to me, because, like, she knows Peter Parker better than, like, anyone I know who knows Peter Parker. She's read the comics. She's watched the movie. She's a big fan. When she said it, I immediately, like, I know there's a reason that she's saying it, so I didn't go, really? Are you sure? I was just like, all right, now I gotta look for it, because I'd never watched Spider-Man before trying to sort him, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
The second this fucking movie turned on, the second, I was like, oh, yeah.
The new one? Not the first one?
No, but just, okay. I've been rewatching Tom's.
Right,
So the second Tom came on my screen, I was like, yup, Slytherin. Little fucking Slytherin. 1,000%. This little bastard gets everything handed to him, okay? I fucking tell you. Like, he's got the Slytherin luck, okay? He's got the privilege. He's got the Slytherin privilege. And that's a very nice place he's got in Queens, by the way. What part of Queens? Marvel. Anyway. Lauren, take it away.
Across from a bodega with the best sandwiches in Queens.
Yeah, okay, yeah, they made it. It's fine.
Should take it away.
My apartment wasn't that nice in Queens, but it's fine. It's fine. He's a Slytherin. I don't want to hear your shit. Person who's mad right now. I don't want to hear your shit.
Reasons now after you've thoroughly insulted them.
I don't actually have to do shit, but die. And I will die saying that Peter Parker is a Slytherin. But yeah, I'll give you some reasons anyway, because, like,
It's because that's what this podcast is. But
I don't know. I thought I was just here to talk to you. Well, there's a shit ton to say about this.
I don't even... So I can't get into explaining why I knew he was a Slytherin, but was having a hard time articulating it in these first two for reasons. But now going back, and especially the third movie, he's extreme. It's not even a secret anymore. So No Way Home, he's like full on, like, yeah,
full blown Slytherin.
Yeah. But no, like Tony Stark shows up in his little room and he's like staring Iron Man, multi-billionaire man in the face and he's like, I'm not Spider-Man, you know? Like he's got the fucking balls. He's like, I just want to keep swinging around in my little sweatsuit. Like I don't want Tony Stark coming for me. And then he never like, yes, when Tony dies, he has the whole like, can I replace Tony? But it's different. He never questions Tony Stark came to my bedroom and asked me to help the Avengers.
Also, like, he had no problem looking at Tony and going, why are you mocking the design of my shit? Like, my goggles help me.
Yeah.
Like, he got really defensive.
No, I know. He was like, my goggles help. He was like, my web shit is fucking amazing. Like, let's see you do that. Like, you know.
Yeah, like Tony could. Like,
Tony says something like, I made it, you made this in a fucking high school lab. And Peter's like, yeah, I fucking did. Like, you know, like.
Tony Stark made this.
With a box of scraps.
Yeah.
That guy that stood next to him is in the second Spider-Man. He's with Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, he's the one like
he would be that son of a bitch. Yeah. When he came on my screen, the way I screamed, I was like, "You bastard!" Of course, Jake Gyllenhaal ruined everything.
He was like ruined Taylor Swift's life, and now we ruined Peter Parker's.
Goddamn fucking bastard.
Glad
I'm glad he's a villain in this, as he should be.
Yeah,
that's probably why Kirsten Dunst didn't come back to this movie as MJ, because she was like, "You hired that dick." No, thank you. Anyway.
But he's like, just like the entire Tony coming to see him and like, that was Civil War that he came and got him. And like, and you see his little like video diary at the beginning of the first Spider-Man that he's like that's very Slytherin. The fact that he has the audacity to just be like filming this top secret mission or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that he's like, I don't know what I'm doing in Berlin, but I guess I'll like be here or whatever. and
what about how he webs Tony's hand?
Yeah.
He's like, actually, you're not telling May.
Yes. Or like immediately jumps into battle with Captain America and then afterwards is like, guys, I stole a shield, and like it's so great. Or he kicks Bucky and Sam's ass. Like,
yeah, he does.
one of my favorite TikToks is there was like a trend going around where they were doing the sound with the You're the Emo Kid. What's that song? They say that teenagers scared the living shit out of me. Who is that?
What did you just say to me?
What? Who is it? You're an emo kid. Who is it?
I'm so embarrassed for you right now. That's My Chemical Romance. It's just fucking goddamn. Did you just say the TikToks?
No, I said there's a trend going around on TikTok where they're using this sound from a band.
Okay.
All right.
Just how did you?
I was not an emo child.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
but there. One of the videos is that moment when Bucky goes to punch him and Peter like stops his punch and is like, whoa, is that a metal arm? And it's just like yammering nonstop. And it like pauses on Bucky's face when it's like teenagers scare the living shit, because Bucky's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter's just in there. He's like, Tony's like, fight these like highly trained assassin super people. And Peter's like, okay. Like, okay, Dad.
Yeah,
and he's like,
I know, I love it. I do. I love that. He's also just like, he's not at all afraid to, he will apologize immediately after he puts his foot in his mouth or like perceives that he's put his foot in his mouth. But the fact that he says the thing anyway at first, where he's like after the Avengers fight, Tony's like, oh, well, you did great, like good job, which is hard for Tony to say.
Right.
And he's like, could have been better, but it's the suit. Oh, but like the suit's great.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, I'm going to let you know. And then I'll be like, sorry. But
yeah, he's just, I don't know. Everyone looks at him like he's this immature kid. He's probably like an emotions test because he's so peppy, and he's very clearly not, like, you got to really watch the shit he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, just because Tom Holland's delivering it a certain way.
Everything he says is intentional.
Yeah,
he's like,
every word.
Because then after that, how many fucking suit upgrades does Tony make for him? So
yeah.
This bitch knows what he's doing.
He really does. Yeah. And he does kick ass immediately.
Yeah, he does.
Of course
And
he
then
does.
We just had this conversation about if 10 had a Slytherin companion. I guess that spoils all of his companions, but it would have been not good because I'm just thinking about how I would have reacted to 10 and like he never would have gotten rid of me and I would have been going all over the place trying to impress him, be like, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? It's kind of the way that I feel a little bit about somebody who is in my life currently, to a lesser degree because I try to manage myself. But and also my relationship isn't as good as Peter's was with Tony, but Peter very much reminded me of that type of Slytherin aspect of like
that's somebody, why I'm telling you that you remind me of Tom, but it's fine. You can say I'm
is
wrong.
that the reason? That's insulting. But
one of them, yeah.
That's the most insulting part. But there is, sure. I think that people lose sight of this because Slytherins are so confident in themselves and their own abilities. And they are so like, I'm great, look at me. Like, I think they lose sight of the fact that when it's not just your people who Peter obviously has, and we'll get into that because that's a whole other thing. But when you perceive somebody to be fucking awesome, when you're like, this person is so smart and so good, and I could learn so much from them just from being in their presence, like you want to stay there. You want to do you're like, I want to go out for a beer. I want to be your best friend. I need you to tell me that you love me and that I'm awesome, and all this stuff. And that's exactly what Peter is with Tony. He's like, he is going around, like saving bikes from being stolen and like from car alarms going off because he's like, I have to prove to Tony that I'm so cool. And so Tony will let me play with him. Like he's like, he's going, and he's also very Slytherin in the fact that like Ned, he's lying to Tony and being like, or Tony's trying to keep him safe and track him and has the training wheels on his suit. And Tom's like, Peter's like, I don't need any of that. Like, I'm fine. I'm cool. I'm great right now. I'm amazing. Tony just needs to see that I'm amazing, but I am an amazing person.
Right. So, and this is like, all of that right there is why I want all of you Tom, Spider-Man, Gryffindor people to just take a fucking step back because Gryffindors and Slytherins are two sides of the same fucking coin with this, where you see a person, you idolize them. For Gryffindors, it's usually like a parental figure that they do this with. Instead of like some kind of an idol.
Or they make somebody a parental figure.
They make it, right. And you can Harry say Dumbledore that Peter does like, this with Tony. You can say Peter does this with Tony. However, Peter understands his value to Tony, and he's trying to prove his value. He's not like looking for scraps of compliments and validation.
He's not even trying to prove it. He's like, Tony,
he just needs to see it.
This is the thing that you're stupid on. So can you like recognize? And
and this is why he hacks the suit. This is why he thinks he knows better. And Ned is like, you cannot lie to Tony Stark. And he's like, well, I already fucking did, Ned, and I don't care because I can do this.
I took the tracker out of my suit and I turned off the training wheels, and I'm gonna bring the bad guy with the giant wings to Tony, and then Tony will know that I can be an Avenger. And he gets the tongue lashing like Tony, and Tony that was that's a bad scene too. Tony takes away his suit. Yep. He's like, and Tom does do, and this was getting me too because it plays on Iron Man, Captain America, where Steve is like, you're nothing without the suit, to Tony. And then Peter is like, I'm nothing without that suit. And Tony is like, well, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And I was like, it's two sides of the same coin, right? Where Cap has like come around the other side and has been like, I am very, and then Peter has become too reliant on is like, I need this as a tool in order for you to see that I am very cool. But then that's the thing about Peter is that he immediately, like, he gives Tony the suit. So he's back to his sweatsuit. He goes to the homecoming dance. Liz's dad is the Vulture. And he sees that he's doing bad shit and he puts on his fucking sweatsuit and goes after him. Like, he's not stopping.
He doesn't even pause. He waits long enough for the guy to drive away. And then he's like, fuck you, Liz, I have a mission. Peter has a mission. If he has a mission, watch the fuck out. Don't expect anything else from him. Don't expect anything else from him.
He's got something he's fucking doing. And like at that point, it had shifted too because I already think he was like, Tony's a lost cause. But he had been on that case so long that he's like, it's mine.
Oh, yeah.
And, and he does do it. He webs Vulture all up and leaves him with his little note, like, found bad guy.
But I'm just
happy to find.
I know Spider-Man's your favorite, but this is my problem with all the Spider-Mans. Mind your fucking business. They don't know how to mind their fucking business. Not a single one of them knows how to just not stick their nose in other people's shit.
They gotta do it,
It drives
man.
me crazy.
They're like, I'm so good at doing it. I gotta be the one to do it.
Then at least do it cool with an Iron Man suit and be rich. Like, I can't still. It's like, I have a duty. I have to do this, and it should be me. And then it's this whole thing where it's like, you Slytherins, you get it in your head where you're like, I know I can do this. It has to be me. Like, not even I know I can do this. Like, it's obvious. This is a fact. It's not an opinion. I'm capable. And when Slytherins fail, that's why it's so fucking explosive, because they're like, I should have known better.
Yeah.
It's all on me.
Yeah. I mean, he has that. It's when
he has it hard.
Well, when he gets stuck under the building without his right, and
he's such a good actor.
Screaming, like I could feel it. That desperation,
right?
Like you can feel it, and it's something that I feel as a Slytherin so many times when it's like, what the like? How did I get here? Because there's no reason that I should be here,
right?
And you get yourself out of it out of sheer. You get mad about it, like out of sheer like it's spite. It's like
even if it's spite of yourself.
Yeah, it's in spite of yourself. It's like you're like fuck this. Yeah, it's like Peter's like, I'm fucking strong. Like, I'm strong. I don't have a fucking suit on, but I'm strong. Like, me. Just me. I could fucking do it.
Right. And he's alone. He's a fucking lone wolf of a character. Even though he has a circle. Even though he has a lot of support. And this is why people had a problem with it, whatever. Even though he does, he's very much a one-man show when it comes to... And you see this in all the fucking Peters. You actually do see it at the end with all the Peters. What a good movie. Can we just stop for a second and just say what a good movie?
It's fucking good movie. It's really good.
Oh my God.
It's really good. It's gonna age well too.
So well.
No,
all right, back to this, Pete.
Yeah, no, I like oh my God, I have so much to say about him being a Slytherin.
It's a lot.
Well, I can get into like really quick, like what I can pull from Infinity War, because he's not really an Endgame because he gets blipped. But like what I can pull from Infinity War and even from Civil War, he like it's a gag, but it's still incredibly Slytherin. It's this gag that he's like, you know that old movie, and it's fucking like Star Wars or whatever. But he's making up a plan based on that, and he gets it. He does it immediately. He's like, Ant-Man's big. He's like, let's spin around his legs and he'll trip over. Or they're fucking in space. They're in space. He should be freaking out, right? And he's like, you guys ever seen Alien? He like immediately has the plan. And like Tony didn't even think of this. Like it's less obvious in Civil War. But they're sitting in that spaceship with nobody coming after them. They've got time to think of a plan, and they're sitting there. And Tony's like, "What do we do?" And Peter's like, "You guys ever seen Alien?" I have an idea.
Yeah. I mean, like, even when it's a gag, like, even when it's meant to be funny or something is supposed to be funny with Tom, I just got every word that comes out of his mouth. Everything he does is so crazy. So, like, it's so hard not to see once you see it. You just have to listen to the kid for, like, 2 seconds. Yeah. He just, he's so intentional. And I don't see that with other houses very often. I mean, I do see it with Ravenclaws sometimes.
He is really intentional.
Slytherins are very intentional.
You can see, it's his fault that Mysterio has Quentin back. It's his fault that he is. Yeah, it is his fault that it is Edith. He hands it over. He hands over Edith or whatever, and you can tell that he's just mad about it. Like he's just straight up.
Well, I wanted to actually talk to you about this. I had a moment where I was like, not that I denied that he was a Slytherin, but I was like, that's very Gryffindor, and I felt it in the theater too. And I was listening to him talk about like, I don't want the fucking responsibility. It is like a stereotypical Gryffindor trait of like just not wanting to be bothered with this. Like, please don't put it on me.
It wasn't like Gryffindor, like, I don't want to be the leader, even though I will be. Mm-hmm. I think he would have been fine being the leader. It was that people were going, we want you to be the next Tony.
Okay.
And he was like, I'm not Tony.
But even with the villains, that had nothing to do with being the next Tony. That was just a mission, and he was doing it for May. And because May was saying it was the right thing. And he kept saying to her, it's not my responsibility.
No, but that's why it was Slytherin that he decided to do it, because he didn't want to do it. He was doing it for May.
I know, but I feel that a Gryffindor would too, no?
He was doing it for May, who is one of his people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a Gryffindor would do it too, but a Gryffindor would do it because they felt that it would become convinced that it was their
No,
responsibility.
yeah, true.
Yeah, they would get there very quickly.
Yeah, because I was watching it and I was like, oh, you're saying like a really stereotypical Gryffindor thing to me right now.
He was saying that this isn't my responsibility, but I'm going to do it anyway because you've asked me and you're trying to instill these values in me.
You guys have that in common with Ravenclaws.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna move into I guess we can I don't remember what I was going to talk about before this, but I feel like a lot of people would say immediately that with great power comes great responsibility is a Gryffindor line, and it's not.
Not really, no.
It's a Slytherin creed. It's not a caution of like if you came at it from a Gryffindor lens that like you can do all these cool things. This is like the Dean Wincheseter lens too, right? You have the ability to do all these things, and therefore you should save everyone. You should be responsible for everyone. I really think for Spider-Man and I mean it comes with the context of how Peter was given this line too by his dying aunt, who is very much a Gryffindor and very much feels responsibility for helping others who are in need with the resources that she has been given. But it's a line that's meant to temper you. Yeah. It's like you have you have enormous power and enormous potential within you, and with that comes the responsibility to do the right thing with it.
Yeah. No, that's true.
It's very Slytherin.
Well, first of all, it's Slytherin because the word power is in it. So,
well, you could say it's Gryffindor because the word responsibility is in it, but
yeah, but we don't want that. So no, you guys are like, all right, I'll shoulder it. Fine, fucking fine. Like, you know, you'll eventually do it, but again, you are doing it for the people. Like, you're not doing it because you eventually feel like, oh, they're right. Like sometimes Slytherin
and I mean,
does,
you see it like Peter is gonna fucking kill Green Goblin until Toby's like, this didn't fix me, so let's not try it with you. Like, you know.
Notice and me and Lauren were having this conversation the other day. I was like, Slytherins really like, you need to hear something from the person that it matters about. Like if I write a paper and I'm trying to impress my teacher, if my best friend says this is an amazing paper, I'm going to be like, fuck you. I need my teacher to tell me it's a good paper. Like if I'm whatever the fuck, if whoever you're looking to impress or you need something from, they're the person whose opinion matters the most. And how goddamn Slytherin is it that he needed himself to stop him? Do you know what I mean? Like he needed himself to be like,
well, and it was the himself with like who had the experience already.
Yes. Too. Oh, it was such a good movie.
Yeah. No, and it was right after Aunt May dies, those two show up.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm sorry. And he's like, don't tell me you know how it feels.
Yeah.
And both of them are like, actually, no. We're going to tell you that we know how it feels. Like you need to hear this. Like, because we have done this. We've played this game before. And then they talk, I can't wait to talk about them. But, but no,
without okay. It's hard talking about Slytherins and power sometimes because it does get a little bit into like muddy territory where you get into stereotyping. And I don't want to do that.
It's not.
But it's not
stereotypes are based in some truth.
I know.
Slytherins do. I mean, it's like a domino effect, right? If you have that much confidence in yourself, there's a power to that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it's just interesting when you look at like the Spider-Man quote where they're like, with this power comes responsibility. And each of them have like, well, all right, we'll just talk about Tom. Tom has many like emotion houses around him, like tempering him constantly and keeping him good, like good natured and everything. And then I think about it versus like the Voldemort line of like, there's no good and evil. There's only power and those too weak to seek it.
Right.
And it's very like, you just put those two next to each other.
That man intentionally surrounded himself with other like-minded people. So like,
right. You know? So you have to look at who the Slytherin is surrounding themselves with.
Yeah.
And I think that Peter Parker, he's got a good circle.
He was raised by
I'm very sad
really
he doesn't
great
have it
people.
anymore.
Yeah, it's very well. I mean, that's what's exciting too. So I mean, so we're getting the good stuff. Before we get to the end of this movie, which is extremely Slytherin, I did want to talk about it real quick because I was like, Rachel, people are going to argue with me that he's like fixing these villains and that's not a Slytherin thing. and it is. I don't really know what
he's like, I
really know.
now believe that I need to do this and that it's possible.
Yeah,
I can do it.
And also, he like literally has a line where he's like, he's like, the technology here is better. I can do it. Like,
really? Yeah.
He's like, well, sucks for those other Peters that they killed these men instead of fixing them. I can be better, and I'm gonna be better. Yeah. I guess it's very Slytherin. It is very Slytherin too. That obviously, these aren't Peter's villains, so he's removed from the emotion of like what has been happening with these guys, like the personal like like all of them had some sort of personal connection with their own Peter, and there was some emotion there, and that helped the context. Peter is looking at this very objectively and logically without that emotion of like, you just killed Gwen, you just like you just did this. He's just looking at it like, why didn't they just cure them? Like I can do it. So like he's totally removed from the emotion. So the ending where he is like just let everybody forget me is very Slytherin. The way he says goodbye is Slytherin. The way that he's like, I'm going to come back and find you is very Slytherin, and then the way that he does go back and decides not to is very Slytherin. You can see him staring at MJ and Ned going, they're better off without me. And I'm good.
I was just gonna fucking say that. I was just gonna say, I was gearing up for it. He's looking at them going like, I'm making the right decision for them. Yeah. The tagline of the Slytherins.
I'm not gonna let them know. It's now I can say the couple. It was very Steve Diana for me, where he was like, this is what's best for them. I'm gonna leave them be, and they're gonna be better people for it. Yeah.
And she doesn't have a whole like overly emotional spiel about it, which I appreciate that she wasn't like, no, you can't. She was like,
no, she accepted his decision. She was like, this is what she. That's what I really like about them too. She was like, saving the world is very important to you. It's an end goal for you, and this is the thing that you see to do it. And I respect that, and I honor it.
She's a good Gryffindor.
She is. Oh, that just reminded me, too. We were talking about this earlier. Fucking the college doesn't accept him, and his next step is to go to the...
Oh, my God.
Next step is to go to Stephen Strange and go, can you brainwash the entire world for me? And it's like, oh, you could have called the... And he's like, oh, so you already tried calling the admissions office, and it didn't work, so I guess I could try this for you. And Peter's like, what? He's like, you can do that? You can call people? And Dr. Strange is getting really mad. And then I was like, and then his response to learning that you can call people is not to call the admissions office, but to walk down... Was that the Brooklyn Bridge that
Even
they were on?
Better. How is that better, Peter?
Yeah. Was that the Brooklyn Bridge that they were on?
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Hey, George. In the new Spider-Man movie, when he's on the bridge and he's talking to the admissions officer, is that the Brooklyn Bridge? And she was on, they were in Manhattan.
I didn't take note, but I doubt it. I didn't see suspension cables.
He didn't see suspension cables, he doubts it.
Okay. It was stone, wasn't it? Yeah. There was like stone pillars.
There were stone pillars.
And like arches. Yeah. Like square arches. Stone arches.
Oh, you know what? There are so many fucking bridges.
All right.
But I mean, it's coming out of Manhattan, so...
She was going to the airport. Whatever. Which one? I don't know.
But. Yeah, I don't know. She could have been going in gross Newark.
Newark.
What? Could have been the George Washington Bridge, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, regardless. Call the office, dude. That's what Lauren just said. Fucking logic houses. It's good to bridge leads to an airport. All right. Anyway. I was telling Lauren, I was like, yeah, and the fucking... Oh, I can't say his house. I can't say Steven's house. I'm so mad. Never mind. I can't tell you my joke.
You write it down anyway, so you can tell it May.
Will someone say,
we have to use all of Steven's shit. I just have to say that Stephen Strange, when we were like, we need to sort him soon, he had one movie. He now has so much content.
Oh, it's so much.
He's insane. I cannot wait to talk about it. I don't even know if we can sort anyone else in that episode.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm just going to talk about him the entire goddamn time.
Yeah, I know. I was telling Lauren when I first started watching, when I first sorted him, I didn't want to tell her because I was like, if I tell her and she disagrees with me, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I'm going to lose my mind. And every time I think that about a character, it's of that house. And it's so funny. And I'm like, if Lauren doesn't agree with me, I'm going to lose my shit. But anyway, this isn't about you, Steven, sir.
No, not yet.
You little bastard. He could have called the office. But he's like, no, I can use my wits, my style, my brain,
Right.
and I'm going to get my friends back in.
Yeah, I was like, and then he gets there and he's
Nothing
like, this
to do with
isn't
them.
about me. Like, get MJ and Ned and MIT.
I just like, okay, I have a really hard time believing, that that's the truth. Like, I feel like that was what he really wanted, was to get them in. But I have a really hard time believing that he didn't want them to like take pity on him too and like let him back in there. He wasn't thinking about himself
like,
at all.
Coming from his like thinking, I really think that he went to say let MJ and Ned in, but he was convinced that he could also get in. But that was the priority to do first. And then when she said yes, then he would have continued.
Because I don't want to go too far and like, he's so selfless. Like, no, he's doing the right thing. He's doing his due diligence first.
And
like
also,
Peter
like,
always does.
I mean, this was obvious, so we didn't really say it. But his people are May and Ned and MJ, like very much so. So he's going to do anything for them.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, you will do that for like, I don't know, like if we go to a supernatural convention and Lauren can get me some ops and whatever, she'll get me the ops, you know, they're expensive. She'll get them for me. But if she gets an op for Rachel that she knows Rachel will say, Lauren, you can be in on this one. Well, Lauren's not going to have too hard of a time buying that op. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. But like, I would do that too. I'm just going to be honest about it. So see how two sides of the same coin? She's like, stop clocking me live,
Obviously,
bitch.
I'm honest about it if you fucking know what I'm doing.
No, I just am very observant, you see.
Uh-huh. Like MJ.
Yeah, we have some things in common.
Anyway, I feel that was a good episode.
Kirsten Dunst be as cool as her?
I know.
Like, why can't she be? It's Jake Gyllenhaal's fault. He ruined her in the early 2000s, I'm sure of it. But yeah, no, Peter, I know there was another thing I wanted to say. Like, even when Ned is like, you're like, whatever, he's yelling at him and he's like, Tony needs to stop treating me like a kid. And it's like, you are a kid.
Right.
A kid who can like stop trains with his bare hands. Like, you're still a kid, Peter. You're 15. He's like, but I'm like Hercules, so. But I will also say the way I wanted to say before, the way he takes Tony's punishment, really Slytherin. Like,
that is the thing that I wanted to mention. Fucking right? At the end, really when Tony brings him to the complex and has the reporters there and is ready to bring him out as an Avenger, and Peter says no. This is getting into the op thing that you just said. Peter says no, and then he turns around and goes, "That was a test, right?" And Tony was like, "Yeah." He only said no because he thought it was a test.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's so funny. So
and
true.
Tony's like, that's a good kid. I'm like, Tony,
shut up. Tony, stop it. You are getting so manipulated by this sweet little face. Just like the best of us Gryffindors do. Manipulated by the cute little Slytherins. They're going to get you. They're little spiders.
That's what I find so funny about the scene, too, is that Pepper Potts is a Slytherin. And she came out like, where the fuck is the kid? And Tony's like, Happy told him to go wait in the car. And she like doesn't get it. She's like, why wouldn't the kid want to come out here?
Of course he would want to come out here. Like, I get this.
Right? She's like, what did you say to him to make him walk away?
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's so fucking true. What a little goddamn Slytherin. He really is. He really is.
I love him. This is one of my favorite Slytherins. One of my favorite male Slytherins. I love a lot of female ones.
I can't even talk. There are so many scenes I wanted to talk about, but they are with other characters like Peter Quill, like or anyone like randomly where he says something.
Where you
like
need
a
to
one-off,
say what their house is,
and I have to speak the fucking other houses, and I'm so mad about it. Thankfully, we can talk about him and Tony, though, in that dynamic, because Tony's like most Gryffindor ever. And super easy.
We can talk about him and Strange in a bit.
No, not really.
What do you mean, not really?
We can't in May. Not yet.
In May.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, really fucking good movie. I assume if you listen to this whole thing, you've seen it, or you wanted to be spoiled, in which case, still go see the movie. But
I was in that weird like pocket of the internet where I was like, if anyone spoils this for me, I will actually commit murder. But I was like looking leaks on Reddit.
Oh my God.
Like actively looking anyway. So I did get it spoiled for me, like the picture of Toby in the end credits.
Okay.
like where it's his face and whatever. But I didn't really believe. I was like, whatever. Anyone could have fucking drawn that.
You don't believe anything. Meanwhile, your
because you
husband's
have
like,
to-
Tony Stark's going to be in this movie.
Expect disappointment.
Uh-huh.
And you will do. It's like a really fucking great philosophy. It genuinely is. I think everyone should be a little more like MJ. You all wish you were that cool and could be in our house, and you can't be. Wait. She's not even gonna give that response. It's amazing.
So that's the last episode of the year.
Oh wow!
I know. I think this is going to be the last season 1 episode because when I first started, numbering the episodes on Anchor, I was like, I don't fucking care. There'll be season 1 forever. And then I was like, maybe we should have seasons. So that's the end of season 1.
Season 1 of Sorta Brilliant.
2. It's bringing in season 2. Very excited. We're Marvel back to back because Hawkeye ends on Wednesday. So we'll be sorting.
That soon?
Yeah, it's the last episode. So we'll be sorting Clint Barton, Kate Bishop, Love of My Life, and I think we're doing Yelena. I don't know. We're going to have to think about it.
We should. I love her. I want to, and I'm saying that I want to.
Okay, well, I want to too. I'm trying to, because I was also like, should we do Kate? Because Kate's obviously going to have more content. But I feel
should we do Kate?
No, because we didn't do Shang-Chi because we were like, there's going to be more Shang-Chi movies, so we don't want to do it after just one movie. We want to give them some development.
I know, but it's a little. But I feel it's a little different with the television shows.
Yeah. That's why. Well, that's
like
why
Falcon's movies didn't come out yet, but we still sorted Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but he was also in quite a few movies before.
All right, you know what, Lauren? I want to talk about her. So just give it to me.
I want to talk about her too. I mean, I guess we can sort her and then also like revisit. Yeah. So next, first episode of January is going to be Hawkeye. Also, fun stuff. You can catch us on It's a Fandom Thing pod, talking about Christmas movies.
That will have passed.
No, this comes out on Tuesday.
We're recording on Sunday.
We just did it.
We just did it. You can go watch it.
We just did it 2 nights ago live. It was great. We had a great time.
We have a TARDIS and we just fucking can't keep track anymore.
Talked about Christmas movies.
And it was so fun.
Yeah, I can't tell you which ones. It's a secret.
Highly endorsed.
We talked about them, and it was shot live, so you can go listen and or watch that. It just happened.
Well,
if you're in Christmas mood with us, since we did Die Hard, and not.
We just we really want to thank you for spending any time, any part of your 2021 with us, because this was way funner than I ever thought it would be, and way less work than I thought it would be. So
I have to tell you how long it fucking took me to convince her to do this. I was like, Rachel,
long
we
time.
should do a sorting podcast. She was like, I don't have the time for that. I was like, what the? You don't have time to do a phone call with me every 2 weeks?
I know. Girl, I find it hard to make fucking little graphics with the same template that I use over and over again.
I gotta make those for this one.
I just love doing this, and it wouldn't even, like, if I had to do more work, I would. Okay, at this point, all right, I would.
Whoa,
have more responsibilities.
That's huge coming from Rachel.
Because I don't want to stop doing it. I love it.
All right. To that effect, then also closing out 2021. Huge thank you to Hannah, who edits every single one of these, produces them. Huge thank you to Illy, whose art is everywhere, all over our, and lets me send her messages that just have squiggles on them and then makes art out of that.
Beautiful art.
So those are the 2 people that we are incredibly grateful for.
Thank you to Fandom Thing Pod and Bedwet Behead and Nerds Are Typing.
Community Rewatch, Jen.
Community Rewatch.
Like, yes.
Thank you for having us on, for coming on to our show.
All the time. I'm like, Jen talks to the writers of Community, and then next week she wants to talk to me and Rachel, and I'm like, why?
Weird. Like, Connie and Delia are out here on convention panels and shit, and then they're like, yeah, we'll talk to you about Enneagram, and I'm like, who are we? We're nothing. We're no one. And then, but
Meg
like
and Carla, who have built like this entire like family and like
I
empire,
know.
and I'm like, you wanna talk to us? But like,
I know. And then Erin from
say.
Fandom Thing, we're like, how much shit does Erin do? Erin is like the hardest working podcaster.
Yes.
And she's still like, yeah, come on, hang out with us. So like this is the Slytherin Gryffindor in us, but we're like, what the like, why? We're not that cool. Like, you don't need to invite us, but please don't stop. Please don't stop, because we love you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, give me the attention, please. Like,
oh yes, give me the validation.
Aaron was like, do you want to be on an episode about what you can listen to about supernatural conventions? I'm like, yes, I will come talk to you about an hour and a half. About
I know,
online
she
supernatural
goes, you want to come talk about horror movies? I'm like, people getting stabbed? Yes, sign me up. I was so excited. She sent me a pin in the mail, in the real mail.
That's
like
amazing.
It's
That's
great.
amazing.
I love the whole podcast community. It is it's so great. This
It's
is
not
such a
something
fun
that I
thing.
expected out of this, to be totally honest. I thought
me
Rachel and
neither.
I would just be like throwing out, we did this on the Twitter timeline. We were like, maybe we'll just record it. But but yeah, the family has been an unexpected, really great surprise.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening and coming along for this crazy ass journey. Even if you don't agree with us all the time, or you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Thank you for giving it an opportunity and listening and like good shit. Anyone watching the sorting competition going on right now with Helen Mirren hosting?
I thought it was only one night. Isn't it over?
I
Or
don't
is it
know.
still going?
I don't know.
Okay.
But George shows me the other day. He's like, first it's Gryffindor versus Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's
Gryffindor got decimated immediately.
Yeah, it's what she
and then
said.
it became Slytherin versus Ravenclaw. And I was like,
Okay.
this is exactly what would happen. Because if Dumbledore wasn't there rigging that bitch, we would not win shit except Quidditch games. Because that's what
games,
you're doing. We're pounding butterbeers back
Although
in the
you
common
cheated
room.
at Quidditch too, because
We will
a
cheat?
first year was not supposed to be on the team.
You know what I wanted to say? I was thinking about how you were saying Peter, people were going to bitch at you because you were saying Peter is a Slytherin who wanted to save the villains, and it's not like
Right.
a Slytherin thing to do.
Right.
Okay. Ronald Weasley does not want to save Draco Malfoy in the fucking room of requirement. He's like, let them bitches burn.
Okay. I guess when you come at it from that direction, because it's so staunchly in the morality, right? They're like, that person's
Hugely.
bad. Hope he dies. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, because I'm watching the whole movie and I'm like, fucking kill these people. Who cares? They bad. Must die. Like, that was my whole attitude. So, like, try not to come at us with that one because I don't got time for that.
Rachel's got arguments. You heard her.
I
already go off.
do.
She was ready for it today.
I got shit to say. And thank you for listening to it so much. It's so hard for me to find people to listen to me.
We don't know if they're listening, but
Yeah, no, but like, okay.
there's a forum for it to be released.
Well, just thank you so much.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all the genuine sap you'll get from us.
No, yeah, no, I'm done. I could tell you I love you and thank you, but I won't do that publicly. So just know it's there. It's unsaid.
He's got the Stephen Strange face after he realized he said he loves Peter Parker.
Yeah, I know. I had to like immediately rein it back in. I can't wait to talk about him. I can't wait to talk about him.
I know. I'm so excited.
Hey, if you made it this far, can you please tweet us with your guesses about what house we're going to put Steven in?
Yes.
I really want to have that conversation.
Please. Let's just throw them at us. We're not going to say a word.
Not a word. And we'll like all of them equally.
Yes.
So you'll never know.
Yes. You should.
But
let's make that a social
want it.
media. Put it on the.
Oh, I'm going to.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we will see you people next year.
Yeah. Happy end of year. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. All that jazz.
Yeah. Don't
See
make
you
any
with
predictions or any like
Hawkeye.
that. Don't say anything
And the
about it being a
love
good
of
year.
my
Just
life, Kate Bishop. I won't say
Yay!
anything about what next year will be like.
every
I've
year I
learned.
say the same thing.
Yeah.
New Year, same me. Don't fucking expect any growth. Pathetic.
No New Year's resolution.
Absolutely not. What a scam. What a scam.
It is a scam. It is a scam. I never, even if I make one, I never follow it. So like, why?
I don't do any of that
Obviously, I don't care that much. Oh,
Can't do
okay.
it.
Anyway,
Uh-oh, realization time, but not for you. Thank you for listening.
No, Lauren had an offline realization.
Uh-oh.
All
You'll
right.
find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!